What would your suggestions be to an 18, 19-year-old dude who's kind of trying to figure out what life is all about and how he should go about being able to get hot chicks?
Ooh, man, that's a pretty broad question. You know, it's funny because like in college, I read the book The Game, and that was kind of like, that was like the initial.
Yeah. I had never had those ideas presented to me. Like, oh, I can be strategic about how I go about doing this. Yeah. I don't have to just go get drunk and just see what happens. Okay.
So I actually got him to do the first edit of my book.
Right.
Neil Strauss did the first one, and then I did 36 afterwards. But yeah, I always found that concept interesting, you know, because it was just like a different way of looking at it. And it made sense, you know, and I think like, you know, one of the books for women, like Why Men Love Bitches. It was funny because like I saw my girl reading it the other day, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna fucking look at this because my buddy had mentioned it, and I started reading it, and there was a lot of truth in there, man. It was kind of like, you know, just basically like the general. I only read 17 pages, but like the general concept that I got was like to just be confident and not like cater too much to the other person initially. And it's true because I think, you know, when you do that. You kind of like communicate that you're, you know, maybe not on that person's level or whatever. And because that person, you know, has seen these patterns, like so much of this is psychology. So understanding like how our programming works and how we respond to things. I'm not a big fan of like gaming chicks or like trying to like be somebody that you're not or any of that other shit. Cause I don't think that's sustainable. And I don't think it's confidence inspiring if you have to pretend to be somebody else or you have to like do fake shit. So I've never been a fan of that, but what I am a fan of is understanding psychology and like why things work and why people respond to other things. You know what I mean? Like why people respond to shit. And so as far as, you know, how an 18-year-old would get laid, I put a little bit of it in the book. You know, I think a big piece of it is just getting out there and approaching a bunch of girls and not approaching them in like, oh, I think you're so beautiful, can I buy you a drink sort of way, but just approaching them and just talking to them, just having a conversation, becoming comfortable talking to a hot girl. And that's something that like sounds easy, you know, I'm sure for you it sounds fucking super easy, but like a lot of these younger guys, you know, me as well, when I was younger, like going up to a super hot chick, it was like initially when I was doing that, it was like, fuck man, I would get anxiety, you know? And I thought that it had to be about hitting on them. That's how I thought like a man is supposed to approach a woman. But no, just go talk to them, get used to that, get used to rejection too. That was another big thing for me. Like that was when I kind of like, I felt like jumped the hurdle was when I stopped giving a fuck about being rejected. Cause I was like, you know, finally when I went to college, I was getting a lot of pussy and I didn't care. And I would like talk to so many girls that like, if some of them shot me down, like, what the fuck does it matter? And when you stop caring, you start doing a lot better.
There's like a dude that we hired as an editor at my office, and he, like, I've kind of seen how he's been able to just sort of become cool with a bunch of the porn star girls that come on the podcast. He's kind of like befriended the ringleader, and now his world is totally open, where any of the chicks that she kicks it with or any of the girls that she knows, she's like inviting them to parties, and he's able to, like, you know, just because he showed the one girl who probably has the most clout in the social circle that he's safe, he's not a weirdo, he's a cool guy that they could just hang out around. And I told him, I'm like, you have fucking cracked the code right there by just showing some self-control and not fucking the first one that you met. Now you can kind of like easily adapt to this fucking world, and they're going to treat you differently because you've sort of like proven the important part, which is that you're a cool guy who is safe and fun to be around, you know?
That's a great point. I think there's another piece of it too. And I think
I was never going to be that guy. I was always like, clearly I'm trying to fuck, you know?
No, I'm the same way, dude. I never was a friend zone, go out of the friend zone. I got a buddy that does that. He'll like purposefully get in the friend zone, build trust, and then try and switch around. I'm like, fuck all that. But I think there's a piece of it that you're not taking into account, and that's just being around hot girls gives him a lot of validation and like other like, and I talk about this, like if you just go out with a hot girl, even if she's your friend, just being with that hot girl communicates so much. It's like, okay, this dude's not a fucking weirdo. You know, if he's actually with this girl, he probably could fuck. You know what I mean? If, you know, probably doesn't have a small dick. Maybe he's rich. Like there has to be something about him why this hot chick is with him, right? So like, just being around hot girls and, you know, and being comfortable around them, that's going to put him fucking light years ahead of anybody else, you know, that just goes out, you know, and is like, you know, bird dogging all the fucking girls at the bar by himself. You know, it's like, okay, this guy a fucking rapist? Is this guy gonna fucking like kill me? Like, you know what I mean?
When you go to the club and you can see the guys and you can see that they have that like hunter instinct in their eyes of just trying to scheme on every possible chick. I mean, chicks feel that too.
Dude, they're like chicken hot. You know, it's like you fucking see them like, yeah, they're just like scoping the scene. It's like, it's very like predatory. And I get it, you know, it's like, I understand, like, I get that mentality. Like, you know, the guy's going to the bar to get laid. That's literally the only reason I ever fucking went out, was to get pussy. But I just like took a little bit of a less aggressive approach, in the sense that like, you know, a lot of these guys, like I said, they think that they just need to go hit on girls and just like, oh my God, you're so beautiful, can I buy you a drink? Like they demonstrate so much interest that it just pushes the girl off, you know? And so I think like the more like natural approach of just like having a conversation, you know, like having a drink with them, whatever, just not so much like communicating interest, I think is much better.